Welcome everyone. This is V. I'm back with another video. Elevating her consciousness because we're moving to the top. We don't stop. We're moving higher and higher. You see, because consciousness is divine power. And so the information here is for informational value, education. It's for entertainment as well, as I'm always trying to entertain you as I'm giving you these messages. All right, so the topic of this, I want to make a topic here, and I want to say this is going to be a ripple or a wrinkle in time. And see, it's been very necessary to do this time travel once more now and again. We're going to time travel. And so while mama has been warming her bed, you see the crock pot is on. And you know what the crock pot is, right? The crock pot is that slow cook apparatus. We talked about that before. If you've been following me with all the videos and been keeping up with everything, you know that we're not cooking rocks. Okay, we're not cooking rocks, but the rock is cooking. Let's put it that way. And so I want to make something that's very, very clear here in a few. But first, when you think about a ripple, right? Just imagine you drop a pebble, a small pebble in the water. And you know, on the left side of the screen you can see how it looks, what it looked like, right? A small wave or series of waves on the surface of the water, especially caused by an object being dropped into the slight breeze. Okay, so then you have the term the ripple effect, which is the ripple effect is often used colloquially, right? Now, it's not really used formally, but it's informal basically, to mean a multiplier in macroeconomics. For example, an individual's reduction in spending reduces the income of others and their ability to spend. Okay. And so let's get in a little bit into more of what the ripple analogy is here. So say for example, a ripple can be caused also by a boulder. A boulder would cause not a ripple but a wave, right? A wave. And so, you know, really we're not talking about waves anymore because we've dived deep and did all that. But we want to take flight now. That's what I want to say. We're going to take flight. Okay. See, ripples are the instant effect of wind on water, right? And see, we talked about previously in previous videos about the Aquarian age, which is termed also the golden age. Okay. But you know, I know things don't look so golden right now, but because you know a lot of things are still in the refinery. Just put it like that. Much is still in the refinery, right? When you think about a refinery, you think about a change, you know, a change that's going to come about. You see, say, for example, like petroleum. When a petroleum refinery changes crude oil into petroleum products for use as fuel for transportation, heating, paving roads, and generating electricity, and as well as feeding stocks or livestock for making chemicals, right? See, the refinery breaks down the crude oil down into its various components, which are then selectively reconfigured into new products. New products. Okay. And then we have on the right, you see the visual there, a wrinkle in time. So a wrinkle in time is actually a book. And it was supposed to be a children's book, but we'll get into that, more about what that really entails. But first, what is the meaning of a wrinkle in time? Let's go ahead and define it. A wrinkle in time is a book about the battle between good and evil and the ultimate triumph of love. A wrinkle in time shows people that it only takes a little bit of kindness to erase years of hurt. Since its publication in 1962, A Wrinkle in Time has become one of the most frequently banned or challenged books for multiple reasons. Banning books, huh? A Wrinkle in Time, because it deals with overtly, it deals overtly with the problem of evil. And it was too difficult for children, they say. But I think sometimes we underestimate how much children really do understand or understand. And so, and it was a children's, or so then there was, it was debate, I guess, whether it was a children's book or an adult book. But in the end of the day, they made a movie out of it, right? There was a motion picture created out of it. So go watch the movie, A Wrinkle in Time. You see, an improbable success. A Wrinkle in Time was rejected 26 times. And so, you think, what kind of chitty chitty bang bang world, we're living in? Well, we used to live in, because we're in the golden age now, right? We're in the new world now. I see they'd rather tell you about, chitty chitty bang bang rather than tell you about the Big Bang. The Great Conjunction of 2020. The Great Conjunction of 2020. I just want to further expound on what a wrinkle in time, or what a wrinkle basically is. A wrinkle is a slight line or fold in something. For example, in a fabric, or even as a person ages, they get wrinkles or creases, right, in their skin. So that's one way of defining it. And also, a crease is a line or a ridge produced on paper or a piece of clothing by folding it. And so when you fold a piece of paper, what do you get? You get the paper's half the size, right? And so then that paper will be half of the length, at least half of the length, right? And so, that's why I wanted to really go in on that just a little bit more to clarify on that, because once we get into, the trend, as I was going through the transmission and everything, that was something that I think needed to be defined. And yes, and so now, the Great Conjunction, on the other hand, occurred on December the 21st in 2020. And so that is something we're going to be talking about and going further into. But you see, in November the 9th, actually, the two planets, they were far apart there, or they were closer, but then they got more closer and closer until they came to one. They became aligned, almost completely aligned. So in November the 23rd, you see December the 7th, and then on December the 21st, the two planets, Saturn and Jupiter, were a line where you could see it looked like it was just one planet, and you see the light around it. And so that is exactly what happened there. And this alignment, could be seen all over the world. So yes, very, very key point. So stay tuned for that. And I just wanted to kind of clarify and give somewhat of an introduction into the whole entire this video. And also, but yeah, so stay tuned and we will get further into that. And so in the transmission, these two planets was referred to as the two gas giants, right? And so, we talked about, you see, the Titans. They also can be referred to as the Titans. You see, the Titans were a monstrous band that was released after the birth of Zeus's son. You see, this is all in the myth. This is all myth, right? After 18 degrees precisely, the planets aligned ever so nicely. The son of Zeus fought, and the Titans fell. But there's a word of caution to this tale. You see, it's a myth. So a word of caution there. Okay, so this is something we're going to be talking about moving forward. We're going to be talking about that great alignment that actually took place. Although this is a tale, caution, you got to think outside the box. And if you watch the animated film, I spoke to you, go back to watch the video. You got to keep track of these synchronicities. You see, keep track of the synchronicities. When you hear something that has been repeated before, has been repeated over and over, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, you gotta pay attention to these synchronicities, because there's something there. Because we're a lot of things that we talk about here on this channel, your consciousness is being elevated. Your consciousness has to be elevated. Okay? This is an elevated consciousness, right? And so a lot of things may be subliminal, but if you elevate your consciousness, you got to start meditating and start getting a connection with the Most High so that you can be able to discern. You will be able to look through some of the subliminal messages and everything that is there. A lot cannot be explained. A lot of times there's no words to explain or everything. You see, there's no words to explain. Even back in the day, in antiquity, they could not explain. And you're going to see when Ezekiel, when he saw these creatures and all, there was a lot of he could not really explain what was going on. And it could have been a chariot. It could have been a unidentified object that he saw, or it could have been some type of vehicle, some type of flying object or what have you. We don't know. This is in your Bible. So I wanted to bring your attention right here. I want to hold the line here, because we're going to go get further into it. In the transmission, like I said, it talk about these two gas giants, Jupiter and Saturn. This conjunction was so important. So this is one. So keep that in mind, and as we move further along. Okay, yes. So the Galactic Center. Okay, as you can see here, we have the Sirius star, Earth, and Alcyone, which is the Pleiades. So Alcyone is the third brightest star in its home constellation, and also the brightest star of the Pleiades, or seven sisters. In fact, its name means the central 1. So that's Alkyone, right? Structured water, you look down to the left, you see where there's structured water of the human body is how it's structured. OH4. That's the chemical structure of water in the human body. And then on the other side, on the right, you have the quartz crystal, how it's structured. Okay, that's how it's structured. So, let's go to the next slide. The brightest star. Alkyone is the brightest star, as you can see, with stars around there, but you see that star that's shining so bright, right? Just another picture to show you there. And also here, so another picture here, we see the universe. I'm going to start at the top. At the top, you have the universe with the infinite. It's the infinite all. The universe is the infinite all here. Cosmic gateway, which is at the 8th dimension here. And it tells you how many years or light years it is. And then the universe gateway, which is a Sirius star. And then you have the stellar gateway, Pleiades, okay, which is a 6th dimension. And that's what we were looking at. You see the star over here. You see when you look at it, it's the Alkyone is the brightest star. And then you have on the 5th dimension is the soul star. Okay, and then you have the body. It's a picture of the body in here. And you can see all the chakras lining up. And you see right there below there is the soul star in between. And then when you go all the way down, it's, you know, you're here on Earth, right? And so we have all the other planets that are surrounding there, and which is Earth in the 1st dimension here. And also in the 3rd, in 3D. You're in the 3D, okay? All right, so the Merkabah, okay, comes from a Hebrew word meaning chariot or vehicle, and can also be defined as also as a light spirit body. Light spirit body. Okay, and that's similar to what the picture we were looking at on the previous slide. Okay, so I say, beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is as one day. Okay, you see, the Most High is not slack concerning his promises, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. 2 Peter 3:8-13. You see, the Merkabah is a symbol of perfect balance. You have the male, which is divine masculine. You have the female, which is divine feminine. And also earth and the cosmos. Okay. You see, the union is an activation of light. You see, I don't have to tell you about when the divine feminine and the divine masculine, when those two come into union, what happens? What can happen? Guess what? You have a reproduction of themselves. That could happen. That's what a divine spark takes place in that union too, as well as you and your body with the earth, as above, so below. Okay, we talked about this before, so go watch in the videos, catch up if you're just trying to come in on this one video. But see the light can transport your consciousness to higher dimensions of balance and higher vibrations. So this is the link. You can go and see that link and see what that's all about. Okay, and yeah, we're going to get into more discussion But I want to introduce you and expose you more to this one. We already talked about, the Merkabah already before, right? And also, I just want to introduce you to this terminology here, the Akashic record. The Akashic record, right? Now, say it's a record of all events, actions, and thoughts that have ever occurred or ever will, which is linked to the Akasha. And so-called astral light, the Akasha, astral light. See, the Akashic records are said to be a compendium of all universal events, thoughts, words, emotions, and intent ever to have occurred in the past, present, and future. You see? And also, so go to that link if you're interested in looking further into this, yeah. So this is more cease, because the Most High, He sees, He knows all things, right? So when we think that there's no record, there's a record, okay? There is a record in heaven, all right? And there are experienced Akashic record readers, spiritual healers, and teachers and divine channelers that exist in the earth. Yes, it's true. So now, I just keep with me here, and I just want to say, ride with me for a bit here, and we are going to get more into, you see, because it's important that we lay up for ourselves treasures in heaven, right? Where neither moth nor rust can corrupt it, and where thieves cannot break through and steal. When you think about the God on the inside of you, you see, there will your heart be. You see, where your treasure is, your heart will be there also. And we already spoke about how the light of the body is the eye. And it says, if therefore, in the scripture it says, if therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. And if therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? You see, God made a covenant with His people. He said, this is what He said here. I will make with them after those days, saith the Most High. I will put my laws in their hearts, and in their minds will I write them. Hebrews 10:16. You see, the Psalm of David said, Lord, who shall abide in the tabernacle? Who shall abide in thy tabernacle? Who shall dwell in your holy hill? He said, and he answered and said, he that walketh uprightly and worketh righteousness and speaketh the truth in his heart. Psalms 15, verse 1 and 2. And then David in 61:4, he says, I will abide in thy tabernacle forever. I will trust in the covert of thy wings, Selah. And then in Proverbs 3:3, it says, let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them upon thy neck, write them upon the table of thine heart. You see, how are you going to be able to say no or even yes to anything if you don't have any confidence in yourself? You see, this is where we need to be waking up. My covenant will I not break, nor alter the things that is going out of my mouth or out of my lips, he says in Psalms 89 and 28. He says, he hath remembered his covenant forever, the words which he commanded to 1,000 generations. Psalms 105 verse 8. Which covenant he made with Abraham, and his oath unto Isaac, Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant. You see, if that first covenant had been faultless, then should be no place have been sought for the second. Hebrews 8 and 7. You see, I just want to pause and do a sidebar here. Because see, make no mistake about it. The birth of Christ was an immaculate birth. And you say, how was it an immaculate birth? You see, the birth of Christ, he was born of a woman. You see, but that first Adam, we talked about something went on there, and it had to be something in the lab, like I said, because it was not an immaculate birth, because he was not born of a woman. Okay, you see, we've been addressing Andreas. Okay, Andreas. You see, you got to know that there have been some faults, and we already talked about that. We're gonna dwell on that any longer. But what I do want to say is that the words of the Most High are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. Okay, and this is in the Psalms. Sorry I didn't get the scripture for you, but in the end of the day, we were talking about the golden age, right? That we are in the golden age. You see, because some of us have been being tried. We've been tested. Okay, there's been this great shaking. And, you know, I think I touched on a little bit, you know, in 2012 is when I first got my first great shaking. There's a lot of things that was going on. I mean, it was a shaking. And you know, I can just say I've been put right on the fire. They just took me and put me right on the fire. So I've been in the fire. So don't, you know, just hold on for a minute, okay? Because this has not been an easy process. This is not something that you want to just jump up and, you know, be, you know, making these claims and so forth, right? But we all had to do our work. We all had to do our soul search. And this is what I was saying when I first started out creating this channel, is that and I'm so happy that I did it, because as I have been seeking the Most High, I've been asking questions, I've been getting answers. I've been getting a lot of answers. And so that's when and everything I'm sharing here today with you now, once again, okay? I pled with God, you know, and ask God, even like Abraham did, when he pled for Lot and his family. You know, God have done so much for us, and time again, it just seems like what we do is spit in the face of God. You know, and in a lot of ways we do that is by just having our priorities all mixed up. See, much of what has been done so far, you know, has not been anything to do with one person. Although it is because of one person, right? You know, the rock of ages, right? And what he did, the one who claimed to have laid his life down. You know the story. You see, the reason why I had to take on this journey, it's the reason why you had to take on the journey. The reason why we had to do the soul search. The reason why we have to do our work. You see, the church building out there was good for the time being, But see, the people of God have to remember that it was never about that house. It was never about that house out there. It was never about that tabernacle, right? God was doing something greater on the inside of us. Now this is a moment in time right now. And see, we're stuck. There's some of us are stuck in a moment in time. We're stuck in a moment in time. But it's time to open your eyes. Time to get unstuck. It's time for us to get, it's time for us to get unstuck. If you're stuck, then you just may be lost, okay? You just may be a narcissist. Because if you think for 1 minute that everything that is going on in the world right now has to do with one person, then you are stuck, okay? And please, it's time to get unstuck. You see, because the one man, because it is about one man, though. That rock. We talked about the rock. We went all through that. Do we have to say again? But see, it says in Romans, okay, in the scriptures, it says, for as by one man's disobedience, many were made sinners. So also by one man's obedience, many will be made righteous. Moreover, the law entered that the offense might abound. But when sin abound, grace abound much more. So that as sin reigned in death, even so grace might reign through righteousness to eternal life through Christ. Okay, our King. Okay, the King. The King is coming. Right? Let's talk a little bit more about, you see, the Most High, He knows the way that I take. When He have tried me, I shall come forth as gold. Job 23:10. In Revelation, it says, I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire. He says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Revelations 2:10. He said, the trial of your faith being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Christ. 1 Peter 1:7. He said, beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you, as though some strange thing has happened unto you, but rejoice insomuch as ye are partakers of Christ's suffering, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. If ye be reproached for the name of Christ, happy are ye, for the Spirit of glory and the God that rested upon you, on their part He is evil spoken of, but on your part He is glorified. 1 Peter 4, verses 12 through 14. You see, we always talk about how all the weights of the bag are His works. Proverbs 16:11. We talked about that. Right? We talked about that. And so, let us continue to move on, and we want to get back into talking about the wrinkle, a wrinkle in time. You see, we said we was talking about a wrinkle in time, right? And then we talked about, because see, when you think about a wrinkle in time, you think about, is it possible, or could it be possible that time was cheated somehow? This is what I'm This is what I'm getting to. This is what I'm getting to it. This is what I'm getting to. Okay. Could time have been cheated somehow? Because you see, when you fold, if you take a piece of paper and you fold it, that paper don't have the length and the width and the depth. Is not the same anymore. You see, a wrinkle in time. You see, and see, that's what sometimes when you get into time traveling, you're crossing through time. Okay. You see, no man. You see, the secret place. Let's talk about the secret place of Most High as we're going through here. We're going through here, traveling through here. You see, it says in Psalm 91:1, it says, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." You see, after the second veil, the tabernacle, which is called the holiest of all. Okay, Hebrews 9:3. That's a greater tabernacle that is not made with hands. So we got to remember, it was never about that church out there, over there, but it was mainly we need to be concerned right now in this day and time. We need to be concerned about the temple of the Holy Spirit, right? That's what we need to be concerned. We need to be concerned because all the weights of the bag are his works. It tells us. Okay? Now, see, the covenant, he said he's not going to break his covenant. You see, the secret place. So let's dwell here a minute on it. Let's hold the line right here and talk about the secret place. You see, no man had lighted a candle and put it in a secret place, neither under a bushel, but on a candlestick, that they which come in may see the light. Okay, he made darkness, and that was in Luke 11:33, and in Psalm 18:11 he said he made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. You know, before I guess he moved, you know, the Spirit of the Most High moved upon the waters, right? He made the darkness his secret place. There was a time when our life was in darkness. Think about that. And see, Psalm 91, we already talked about that. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. But let's go and see what Ezekiel was saying. We already touched on a lot of these things, a lot of the prophecies. The prophecies was been there. Okay? Ezekiel says, he says, "My face will I turn also from them, and they shall pollute my secret place. For the robbers shall enter into it and defile it." And then he says in Ezekiel, that's Ezekiel 7:22, and Ezekiel 28:3, it says, "Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee." And see, and then it says, the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, "Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith the Most High God, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am God. I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man and not God. Though thou set thine heart as the heart of God." Okay, you can set your heart as a heart of God. Matter of fact, God is within you. You are made in the image of God. However, there is something greater. See, there's a greater covenant. There's a greater tabernacle than this earthly tabernacle. Okay, know that. With thy wisdom and with thy understanding, thou hast gotten the riches. and has gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. But the great wisdom, and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Therefore thus says the Most High God, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of God. You see, you have the macro and the micro. You have the as above, so below. You got the alpha and you have the mega. The alpha and the omega. You have the Prince of Peace. There's a King of Kings. And there's a Lord of all the Lords. Okay? And saying, alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour, it says, in 1 hour, so great riches is come to naught. And every shipmaster and all the company of ships and sailors and as many as trade by the sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing. I'm asked, what hour is this? That's a question. That's a question of what hour is this? The scriptures even said, what city is like unto this great city? You see, and see, since we're traveling through time, you see, we're reflecting on the things. It's time to this is what we're doing. We're reflecting on things because see, there's something happened with the time. The time, there's a warp in time that's taking place. A ripple in time. A wrinkle in time. Something folded up the page, and now, you know, the time is just done shortened somehow. You see, God is good. You see, He's trying to save somebody. I'm going to go straight to the verse 22, or verse 21. It says, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. You see, but you know there's a remnant, right? There's a remnant and there's a record. We already talked about that. And so in verse 22 it says, and the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be. Hold on, let me just do a sidebar here. It says, he said, whatsoever craft he be. He said, no, and no craftsman or whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all, no more at all in thee, and the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. So you got to think outside the box. You see, when we think about all the things that happened, you know, when even in 2008, what happened there? You see, this can't be about one man or one person. You know, like, or, you know, some of us are stuck, you know, thinking, okay, somebody is attacking them or whatever the case is. But this is stuff that's been in prophecy. Have we forgotten? We need to remember. If we have forgotten, you know what I'm saying? But you see, a lot of things, the way it's taking place now, because of this wrinkle in time, and because of this, or this ripple in time, Lamb. And he said unto me, These are the true sayings of God. He said, and I fell at his feet. So John, this is John in Revelation. He said, I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not. He says, I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Christ. The testimony of Christ. He says, worship God. For the testimony of Christ is the spirit. The testimony of Jesus is the spirit. The testimony of Yeshua HaMashiach is the spirit of prophecy. Revelation 18 verses 8 through 10. This is what we just got through going through there. Okay. You see now. You see. Let's just go over once more now and again, and say this once more again. You see, we were talking about San Andreas. We were addressing a San Andreas and all of that. You see, and also the immaculate birth of Christ. Now, we touched on some things because there were some things that we thought that we know there was a first Adam, then there's a second Adam and everything. But make no mistake about it. The blameless, unspotted lamb, right? The birth of Christ was an immaculate birth because he was born of a woman. The other situation, the thing that happened before, was not born of a woman. It had to be in the lab or something. Now, I don't know. We talked about a lot of things in regards to, things that are being created in the lab. You have your designer babies and different things like that. Now, I don't know if, if it's something done in the lab. I'm not sure. You have to check. I'm not even sure if they would have the divine spark. Maybe they have the divine spark, or do you need to check to see if or no? My question would be, put a comment below if you know whether or not that these laboratory customized beings, do they have the crown? You see what I'm saying? The crown. Are they being crowned? How are they being crowned? Because I don't know how they can be crowned if they have to come out the mother's womb. You see, we know. I'm already thinking right now. I'm thinking ahead because I'm thinking that they may be patent. From what I understand, I know they patent. That means that's going to doesn't belong. It's not the original. It's not the natural birth from God that came out the mother's womb. So I got that part, but I'm not sure. How that person. If you have a designer child or somebody, are they functioning, well? Sometimes you have to look at them, because artistic, A-R-T, and autistic is A-U-T is not the same. It's not the same. And some of these, God bless these parents who have children that are, they have some things going on there where, they have to attend to them more. There's a blessed children and everything. God bless them and bless their parents. But in the end of the day, you have to know what it is that you're receiving. You see, because sometimes, the development of the child could be different from a child who is born in a natural way and doesn't have these contaminants or different things. Sometimes even some of the things that they've been given, may not be something that they should have. I don't want to get deep into that because I'm really going outside of my I don't want to be too far outside of my scope, of what that is. But put a comment below if you know anything about that. How these children, if you had a child that you have customized, are they, very, very artistic? Are they, how are they? You know what I'm saying? I don't really know. Maybe this is good. I know there's a lot of things that God gave man the ability to create. He gave them to innovate, to experiment. You know what I'm saying? I'm all for experimenting, and all for, I'm 100% for innovating on things that's going to help mankind. Okay, it should help mankind. It's not something, if it's not harming mankind. Okay, if it's to help mankind, because there are many instruments, there are many devices and many apparatuses and different things that God have given man the ability to create or innovate on, so that they can assist us here. If you don't think that God is assisting us here, or you just think that you're the God of all the earth, then you got nothing coming, because you may want to rethink again what the real truth is behind the creation. Okay, so how about we just lay up ourselves treasures in heaven? All right, so let's get back and talk about the wrinkle. All right, the wrinkle in time. You see, the wrinkle in time, the influence of quantum physics on a wrinkle in time is undeniable. Lioness conceived of the book while reading about cosmology on a cross-country road trip with her husband and children. She said, "I started reading what Einstein wrote about time," she writes, "and I used a lot of those principles to make a universe that was creative and yet believable." You see, quantum physics isn't the only discipline whose conception of time influenced the novel. Lioness' fascination with time pervades her fiction and nonfiction, especially as concerns Kairos. Kairos is a concept from classical rhetoric meaning roughly to say or do the right thing at the right time. And we've asked the question already, is this the right time? Are we in that time? What hour is this? And what time are we living in? Okay, how is the ripple in time maybe related to much of what is going on? You see, both Kairos, which is Kairos, and Chronos is Chronos. You see, Chronos, Father Time, all right, is a Greek word for time. And Kairos, a term for which there is no English cognate, is usually defined in opposition to Chronos. Put simply, Chronos is time, Father Time, like I said, that can be objectively, quantitatively measured. Kairos, on the other hand, is more subjective and qualitative. You see, we talked about quantitative and qualitative before in previous videos before. Okay, sometimes theologians translate Kairos as God's time. You see, we have God's time, right? And El Ingos seems to refer the definition real time, RT, real time. I know if you've been working any with computers on a job or anything, you know about real time, right? And there's a link here, and there's a link that I will leave about the what the wrinkle in time is all about. So, in a wrinkle in time, determining the right timing for the rescue mission is a frequent topic of discussion for the mysterious Mrs. West. I mean, WS, Mrs. And I maybe left out some of that, but Mrs. whose dialogue mostly consists of quotations, warns Charles Wallace. She says, it says, It's getting near time. Chauncey, she says, it's getting near time. You see, so a wrinkle in time. So let me ask you this question. Can a wrinkle in time forge an opportunity? Can a wrinkle in time forge an opportunity? Perhaps a rescue mission. Some might also say a ripple in time can forge an opportunity as well, right? You see, Psalms 90:4 says, for 1,000 years in the sight, in thy sight are but as yesterday. 1,000 years in thy sight are but as yesterday when it is past, and as a watch in the night. All right. So now in 2 Peter it says, but beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing. We already went over that before. It says, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord, or the Most High, as 1,000. That's 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is of a day. As the year 2020 comes to a close, so we just keep in mind we're traveling in time, so we have to go and look at this. It says, the skies put on a final show of the year on the longest night of the year, as sky gazers on Earth witness the rare union of planets Jupiter and Saturn on December the 21st. It says the two gas giants appeared as a single speck of dot glowing in the night sky, and people from all around the earth looked up at the skies to watch these two distant worlds appear as one. See, they appeared as one after 400 years. See, after 400 years, this is what it's done. This is what they saw. You see, so you ever heard the scripture say, "Look up"? Were you looking up for your redemption that draweth nigh? Look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. Look up, because our redemption is drawing near. You see, if you did not believe in God, you see, if you do not believe in extraterrestrials, okay? You know, sometimes I sit here and think, you know, when sometimes a lot of people, they can't even, you know, doing all this, you know, shut down, different things, people's family done broke up, they don't even speak to each other. But you know what, I said, E.T. phone home. You see? So if you don't believe in God or E.T. and the like, I don't know what to tell you. Don't you see the handiwork? You see, the conjunctions usually occur when two celestial objects appear to pass close to one another. When seen from Earth, the heavenly bodies simply appear to be close. When seen from Earth, due to their orbital alignment. You see, this is a galactic alignment, a great conjunction. You see, the heavenly bodies simply appear to be close when seen from Earth due to their orbital alignment. They were placed at an angle separation, you see, at an angle separation of nearly 0.1 degrees or so. This close proximity was last witnessed. The last time this happened was in the year of 1623, just after the famous, you know, Italian astronomer Galileo started observing the sky using a telescope. After 2020, such a close approach of Jupiter and Saturn will happen again in the year 2080. Okay, so in case you missed that lifetime celestial event, you just go online and you can still view it, right? Some folks don't even believe that. They don't believe this. They say stay from up there. Stay down here. Don't go up there, right? Lions, see, and also another alignment took place. The Lions Gate Portal this year took place on August 8th. Did you miss that? You can probably go and see that as well, even though you probably missed it. So, and also just be mindful also on the astrological chart for 2022. It's the year coming. It's the Chinese astrological chart shows the year of the tiger is in 2022, right? So let's get back to talk about the Lion's Gate portal. So the Lion's Gate portal was activated on August the 8th. You see the sun and the star and the Sirius star got closest to Earth and aligned with Orion's belt. When Sirius, known as the spiritual sun, and the sun in Leo come together, they generate a portal for rapid spiritual growth. So hope you got in touch with that. Hope you were ready for that, and you observed that. Okay. In the case of the Lion's Gate portal energy, you see energy is running high. Times like these, and see, in times like these, right? You got to take advantage of opportunities. Take advantage of the opportunity for the ultimate manifestations of power. Remember, the power always comes from within. And it's always someone during these times, sometimes you have to, it is being said that what you can do is create a memory board, right? And because visualization is a powerful tool when it comes to manifesting and working with the law of attraction. You see, I'm just dropping some gems here. You see, you have to set an intention. Get clear on manifesting. You know, when you make a memory board, you get that memory board. You put, your photos, everything you want to do on that board, and anything that inspires you, right? Anything that inspires you. You make a display board that you can see every day. And also, one of the things you need to do is to, find out what day that you were born, or what crystal that represents when you came onto the planet. Okay, and meditate on it and align it with your chakras, right? And so during this alignment, our astrological galactic evolutionary triangle, which is the tetrahedron of energy. You see, what is that? That is the Merkabah, formed by the Earth, Sirius, Alcani. We talk that star. So the Earth, the Sirius star, the Alcani star, and the Galactic Center is amplified into its greatest potential for the year. This amplified tetrahedron of energy that surrounds us seeks to structure the water within our bodies into liquid crystals, bathing all 100 trillion cells within our body in galactic liquid crystal template frequencies. You see, when we structure the water within our bodies, we become walking liquid crystals, it says. You see, I'm reminded about, one of my spiritual guides, right, always getting at me about, he said, you're drinking the water wrong. You're drinking the water wrong. I'm like, back off, because I'm just stubborn, right? And also, he's like a little F over my shoulder at night. Stop eating late. Stop eating late, he says. You see, you all better listen to your spiritual guides because they know this is what they're trying to tell you. Liquid crystals have the capacity to absorb, store, emit, amplify, and transduce energy. Convert from one form to another. Okay? So, meaning we have the capacity to absorb the cosmic evolutionary triangle frequencies and align with their divinity, awakening to our grander evolutionary purpose. Every thought, feeling, word, action is amplified during this time, enhancing our capacity to transmute old cellular memories, shift the expression of our DNA, and support the body to naturally heal, awaken, and evolve. You see, this is a natural way that, we can get our DNA upgrade. Okay? So, yeah, I have yet to get me a water container, like some of that's copper or something. Drink the water out of that because it helps the water, right? To be, in the right way to consume it, so that it could help your body, so you could be in alignment with all these things here. You see the great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. You see, in one Earth year, Jupiter closes the gap between itself. Yeah, we're getting back to talking about that great conjunction, because it has lots to do with us. You think? Look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. You see, Jupiter closed the gap between itself and Saturn by about 18 degrees. You see, 30 degrees minus 12 degrees is equal to 18. Keep that in mind. So in a period of 20 Earth years, Jupiter has orbited around for another pass of Saturn along the ecliptic. Okay? Along the ecliptic, thereby lapping the ring planet once every 2 decades. See, that's 20 years, right? It's a Saturn. So we talked about how 1,000 years is as a day, is as one day. Okay, we already said that. So if you go back and you listen, and you listen, because I got to try to keep up here. 1,000 years is as a day with the Lord. So at the timing, we're talking about time here, right? Time, Father Time. Now, so while we are up so high, I just want to talk about, I want to talk about the book. I want to talk about Ezekiel. See, Ezekiel in the book, it talks about the whirlwind that came out of the north. He said it was a great cloud and fire. And it talked about the creatures. He said these creatures was the color of terrible crystal, stretched forth over their heads above. They said they had crystals over their heads above. They had wings. It talked about the wheels, WHEELS. It says make a whole, and I'm just going to say right now, to make a whole story short. This was he said, Ezekiel said this. He said, this was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Most High. Appearance and the likeness of the glory of the Lord. You see, when you go in there and read that, you probably wouldn't recognize what is going on. But This is what Ezekiel said. This is in your Bible. This is Ezekiel. This is in your Bible. But did he know? Did not know enough? You see, did he know too much, or did he didn't know enough? Right? That's right. That's my question. Put a comment below. You think did he know? Did he know and did he know enough? You know, as when you think about what happened and so forth, I don't want to dwell too much on that, but I want to zero in on what E.T. had said during the conversation that I heard him talk. I was listening at them talk, and I heard him say, E.T. said this. He said, you see all this political and religious dogma going on. You see, there are a lot of things that have been going on. You see, that's why I say we can't get caught up in thinking, oh, it's just all about me. I know when I got struck down in 2012, I was shaking like a reed with the wind. You see, and it's real. You know, we got all into this chaos. We all tangle up, and some of us done got stuck. But in the end of the day, you think about the many entities, or the many aspects of our society that has been, you know, you could say that has been attacked, or that needs to be made over or done over. You look at the hospitals, right? Some of the hospitals are closing. There were hospitals that were closing, had them closed already, these buildings. Then you got the law enforcement that's been being attacked. Look at the schools. The schools have closed. A lot of the schools have closed up or are struggling, right? The prisons have been open and closed. You know, they let some people out who most likely probably was innocent, right? The school, and then the church, the doors of the church being closed. You see, you'll go find somebody to blame. You know, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you gotta wake up, okay? Because now the other thing that they're saying might need to meet. I'm thinking this might be another thing that might need to be done over, made over. Done a different way, because it's not working for you. Because E.T. said that this political and religious dogma that is going on. He said this is what's called, which a lot of people may refer to it as the Hegelian dialectic or whatever it is. He said E.T. said that this is the biggest problem the earth is struggling with. That's what he said. And he also said, to clarify another question that I was asking, the question is, he said that the earth has always existed. This is what he said, the earth always existed. So it was not created. It always existed. Mother Gaia always existed. You know about science. If you know anything about science, then you know that the matter can neither be created nor destroyed, but only changes from one state to another, or from one form to another. And so, yes, if you want to know if there's life after death, the answer is yes. Right? You can answer the other question, do you believe in God? Answer that. Okay, do you believe in God? I'm telling you, something is out there. Somebody is out there. Okay, so you don't poop your pants. Get ready. Be ready. Everyone that did not sell their souls out, be ready, get ready. So, because could it be that God will show himself? Whether what God will you look with it, whether God will look like what you think he may look like, might be a mystery, right? Everything else has been a mystery so far, huh? Will God and the mighty host of his angels show up? Is this the time? Is this the hour? For some might say the rapture is near. Some might say this ascension point. The ascension is near. The Anunnaki is coming. The Anunnaki is coming. Who is this? Right? But I'm telling you, it's something is surely up. It's something is surely up. There's something surely is going on. Okay? Having said that, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And as always, I appreciate each and every one of you.